It is the Tuesday album tour. This is our last Tuesday of the month, and we have a triple header. This is the second time in my channel's history that we have done a triple header. With that said, I'm really excited because tonight we are going to be listening to Bob Dylan's Nashville Skyline, Dr. John's album Grease Grease, which I'm thinking is Spanish for gray gray, but I could be wrong, and then Cat Stevens' album Tea for the Tillerman. Guys, we're starting off with the Bob. I'm excited about it. Now, a lot of people get mad at me when I say the Bob. Understand, I'm saying it in a term of endearment. I really got a big hit in the face the very first time I listened to Bob Dylan. And we've been going through his albums chronologically, his studio album releases in particular. And going through his albums has been one of the most exciting journeys ever. A guy that really builds his whole thing off of not ever having to do the same thing. When I look at my favorite bands like King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, Fish, Grateful Dead, it was, like they have samey sounds, but they got a chance to reinvent themselves. Frank Zappa, they get to do different things each album. They didn't have to try to reinvent their own wheel. And it's interesting because as I've gone through this, I've kind of looked at where Bob seems to be in the course of time. And you get freewheeling Bob Dylan, and you have this just happy young guy in love that's kind of going through some tumult. He writes some of the most amazing music that inspires some of the most beautiful social movements ever. And then right from there, you get our political activist, Bob, a more serious, stern young man that's not, too much in his feelings, but in each step, very much in his feelings. Then you get another side of Bob Dylan. We start getting a little bit more of like, the electric stuff. Like half of this album ends up having other instruments than an acoustic guitar and a harmonica, and God for friggin' bid. Which, each step you kind of see a different side of Bob. I mean, not to be silly about it, but there's like a million sides of Bob Dylan. We get to bringing it all back home, and this really starts what I think is one of music's best trilogies of albums ever. I think plenty of people are going to agree with me. But bringing it all back home, Highway 61 Revisited and Blonde on Blonde are just mind-blowingly good albums that, as I went through that journey, I mean, it really, really, you see a lot of personal performance. You see this guy go from like a young kid trying to hustle and just, get to play his songs to a guy that's kind of figuring it out and trying to figure out how to deal with all of the expectations the world has on him, how he has his own stuff with himself, but then also like writing his abstract, the voice of the people kind of writing. Highway 61 Revisited is genuinely probably one of the top 3 most listened to albums of my year in 2025. Getting that album under my belt just blew my mind. And you see this kid that's kind of like gotten bored with success, also maybe getting a little bit sick of the way that people view him. You go to Blonde on Blonde, and we get a very, very, very different Bob. Like you kind of see him progress in cool. And, this wholesome guy, this like stern guy, this guy in transition, this guy that's like trying to cope, this guy that's just decided to do his own thing, no ifs, ands, or buts. Highway 61 was awesome. Bob on Blonde was one of the I think more personal albums maybe he'd ever written. As far as like what we'd gotten to up to this point. And you just see kind of a sad, cold, chapped lips, like stern dude, and I think that really reflects it. The vibe of the album. John Wesley Harding is a massive curveball. We see him go from all these random cool guy phases in New York to just hanging out with a drummer and a bass player in Nashville. And it ends up being one of the most beautiful storytelling albums I've ever heard in my whole entire life. 38 minutes, well worth it. And apparently comes out of nowhere, like in the midst of the heart of the summer of love. I mean, it really, out of nowhere, hey, here's a random Bob thing in the middle of psychedelia, which I'm incredibly juiced about. And so as we go into this album, I want to kind of pay attention to the Bob that we find ourselves here. We have a smiling Bob, which is a really good feeling. You know, this dude's just got a guitar and a grin, and it looks like he's outside, so it feels like it might be maybe a more folky affair. I'm not quite sure. With it being Nashville, coming from the previous album, I'm wondering if it's going to have similar sound textures to what John Wesley Harding did, or Hardin did. I said Harding because of the thing. But yeah, guys, we did have a little bit of context provided by our beloved friend, Biggie Smills. It is early 1969, after the year of 1968, which saw race riots, the assassinations of MLK and RFK, the escalation in the Vietnam War. Political polarization was growing. Enter the new album from the poet laureate of rock and roll, the voice of the promise of the 60s counterculture, the guy who forced folk into bed with rock. He says he wrote a lot of songs in F and quit smoking. Okay. Nashville Skyline is the third album Bob recorded in Nashville, reunited with Charlie McCoy and Kenny Buttrey, among others, including Charlie Daniels from Devil Went Down to Georgia fame. Okay, it was well received, reaching number 4 in the US and number 1 in the UK. You love to see it. Guys, I'm friggin' juiced. I think we've done enough recap. Now, here's the whole point of this thing. This is a music discovery stream. So I need to ask, have you heard this album or this artist before, or are you raw dogging a very first listen with me? Are you familiar, or are you a raw dogger? One of the coolest parts about doing this channel is that I get to introduce people to music that they've never heard. I also get to kind of facilitate a forum where people who love music get to see other people discover the music. So it's a really fun time. Definitely, again, participate in the conversation. Girl from North Country with Johnny Cash. This is kind of exciting because Girl from North Country is one of my favorite songs from Freewheelin'. So this is going to be a great listen. Guys, I'm going to hit the play button. Before I do, it's very important to me that you know that you are awesome, that you are valuable, that you are important, that you matter, that you are deserving of love, and that I am abundantly grateful for even a moment of your time. If you like what you see, feel free to hit the like and the subscribe button. It goes a long way to help me out. If you really like what you see, leave a comment. I would love to hear from you, or join us on Kick or Twitch. I stream every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Arizona time. These people over here are actually the best people. Come hang out with us. Come discover music with us. I know I speak for everybody over there when I say we would love to have you by. We've got a lot of raw doggers. We've got a lot of familiars. A good mix in the chat is one of my favorite ways to discover an album. So guys, without further ado, Bob kind of being self-referential, I guess, opening up with Girl from North Country, but this time with a little bit of a guest. Mr. J.R. Cash himself, Nashville Skyline by Bob Dylan. Here we go.
If you're traveling to the North Country Fair.
Is that Bob?
If you're traveling.
Okay, so you go from if you're traveling down to the North Country Fair. And then, if you're traveling, I can't even do this one. I don't know how to do the Bob voice. That isn't this one. God.
If you're traveling to the North Country Fair, where the winds hit heavy on the borderline, remember me to one who lives there.
That part a little bit sounds like Bob. If somebody told me, Walter, listen to this version of Girl from the North Country, I would have said, who covered Bob Dylan with Johnny Cash? I haven't heard Johnny yet, so maybe Johnny's voice is doing something weird too. I don't know. I can't imagine it is. But if Kermit the Bob, not too far off. Ah, Peggy, that's not too far off. Ah, there really, really is a little bit of a like. This is not the man's voice I know. I could never in a billion years have listened to this and told you that this was Bob. What a chameleon.
For she once was a true love of mine.
See for me.
Okay, that's Johnny
that
Cash.
Her hair's hanging down. It curls and falls all down her breast.
Why does it sound a little bit more dirty when Johnny Cash says breast than when Bob Dylan says breast? It curls and falls all down her breast. All down her breast.
Falls all down her breast.
It's a little different.
See for me that her hair's hanging down. That's the way I remember her best.
If you go when the snowflakes fall, when the rivers freeze and summer ends, please see for me if she's wearing a coat so warm.
There are moments where it sounds like him.
From the howling wind.
So it's interesting because this is more strum styled than it is his like finger picking thing. And I spent hours learning how to do that little finger picking pattern to play that song. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I spent hours doing it. Like trying to sing and play that little bit from Freewheelin' is not easy. So this comes to be kind of a more strummy country thing, and significantly less of a folk thing. It's kind of interesting that as I'm sitting here, like kind of taking it in, hearing how Bob kind of does whatever he wants with his own song, and knowing the respect that he and Johnny had for each other, and to hear it done in a new take, I'm actually way more taken with it as it's going through than I anticipated I would be.
If you're traveling in the North Country Fair,
and to hear him
where the
harmonize.
winds hit heavy on the borderline, please say hello to one who lives there. For she was once a true love of mine.
How long does Bob's voice stay this way? That's, I guess, the correct
If
answer.
you're traveling in the North Country Fair, where the winds hit heavy on the borderline, remember me to one who lives there. For she once was a true
Hey, babe.
love of
Have you heard Johnny Cash sing "Girl from the North Country" with Bob? You know, I think there was a song one time that was a Bob Dylan song that came on, and you were like, "This is Bob Dylan." I was like, "No, it's not Bob Dylan. It's not this song, but it's that voice."
who lives there.
Lady Lay song.
Whatever you have, every night.
Similar.
What? Yeah, it's yeah, kind of. I remember thinking, "Lay, lady, lay." Yeah, everybody's saying the same thing you are. Literally, I can remember hearing that song and Mel being like, "Yeah, this is a Bob Dylan song." Mel, I was like, "Babe, I know Bob Dylan's voice." Babe, trust me. Honey, I know Bob Dylan's voice. And she's like, Walter, I'm serious though. I this is really Bob Dylan. And then she showed me, and then I was a total douche. So W's in the chat from my wife. Spoiler, I didn't. And yo, Trendy Floof, thank you for the 5 gifted subs, homie. If you got a gifted sub, thank our homie Trendy. That was so kind of you. Man, that was fantastic. Consider the Bob.
She once was a true love of mine.
Love of mine.
A true love of mine.
A true love of mine.
True love of mine.
A true love of mine.
A true love of mine.
She was once a true love of mine.
So this is what I'm wondering though. Everybody at this point in time has heard Bob sing the couple of ways that he does. And then he does this one, which is a totally different, like voice actor level different voice, right? And Johnny shows up to a studio, okay? He's heard Bob sing a ton, okay? And he's like, "Hey, Johnny, man, you wanna do Girl from the North Country, man?" He's like, sure. I sure would." And then he's like, "Sure, man, let's go ahead and do it. If you're traveling." And then I can only imagine Johnny's face to that moment where he's like, Bob? He's like, "Yeah, man." It really does stand out to me as like, this had to have raised a few eyebrows that Bob would have been like, "All right, man, next song." Take One is released on a bootleg. I would love to hear that just to know. Nashville Skyline Rag. This is already ripping. See, this also does seem to be like a time in Bob's life because, like, he seems to have sobered up after his accident, right? Like, it feels like him doing John Wesley Hardin is without question like I'm sober now, guys, kind of album, right? Because it's so organic, it's so country, it's so earthy. And compared to all of the other music that's going on, even when you like listen to that versus like even just a couple of albums before, it's like very, very removed from what he was doing. So I'm kind of wondering if he like took that time. Hey, Schizoid, love you, homie. See you tomorrow. If he took that time and just like kind of embodied like or embraced a pure kind of lifestyle. Because it seems like once he kind of settled down with his family and kind of got removed a bit from the New York City scene and from like the craze, when he kind of did his little took a sabbatical from the public eye, so to speak, seems like he came back with kind of a refreshed, more holistic view of life. Hey, have a good one, Rabbit. I'm hearing that same thing you are, Cone. Bass all left ear. But this lap steel guitar is just ripping, is it not? Pedal steel, not lap steel. Oh, we're doing every single album of OZ Apple. I said Bob gets the whole catalog. Eastbound and down, loaded up and trucking. This is so nice. I think it's an instrumental. The pedal steel player also did Lay Lady Lay and Stand By Your Man. Okay. Ween played with the instrumentalist on this band, which is amazing to me. 12 Golden Country Greats. What's amazing to me is like, yeah, Ween and Bob Dylan are removed by 1 degree. And that's so cool to me. I'm prepared for all of it. Little ragtime ditty there? If he's playing an F, I should be able to play cross harp in B flat. Yep, I was right. You guys care if I play along for a few moments? You guys don't mind for a moment, do you? Okay, here we go. I'm not gonna bore you too long. This got exciting. Yep. Bob is so cool. Honestly, is this our first instrumental we've gotten in his catalog since we've been doing this together? I think this might be. This might actually be his first instrumental that we've heard together. Through what? This is album number 9? Number 8? Let me double check just really quick so I know the count. We did 1, 2. Oh, I forgot to even count Baby Bob in the review. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, album number 9. Album number 9. Okay. I'm not mad at that instrumental whatsoever. To Be Alone With You.
Is it rolling, Bob?
Is it rolling, Bob?
To be alone with you. Just you and me.
Yeah, baby.
Now won't you tell me true? Ain't that the way it ought to be?
This is such a different Bob voice, but I'm so behind it. It's like, ain't that the way it ought to be? I've never heard him do this, but I'm absolutely embodying like that guy. It's so good. And the lead behind it.
To be alone with you. Just you and me. Now won't you tell me true? Ain't that the way it ought to be? Ain't that the way? To hold each other tight the whole night through. Everything is always right when I'm alone with you. To be alone with you at the close of the day, with only you in view, while evening show. And while life's pleasures be few, the only one I know is when I'm alone with you. They say the night time is the right time to be with the one you love. Too many thoughts get in the way.
I love this little guitar texture behind it. Like the little palm muted, like kind of softly overdriven thing that's happening there behind it.
To be with the one you love. Too many thoughts get in the way in the day. But you're always what I'm thinking of. I wish the night was here.
Song of the album right now. Let's
Bringing
go.
me all of your charms. When only you are near to hold me in your arms. Oh, I always thank the Lord when my work day is through. I get my sweet reward to be alone with you.
Song riffs. I do always thank the Lord at the end of the workday. And I'm psyched I get to be alone with you. You're welcome. Thank you. I have a cool wife, guys. Did Bob play piano? I'm told he did, but I don't know if he played these keys. Nashville Skyline is a great one. I'm guessing that's what's coming. I'm not gonna lie to you. 3 songs in, I'm super thrilled. I like it. It's a little bit different, but I feel like I say this every single time we get into a new Bob album, right? It's like it's all kind of so far removed. Like maybe they come in little clusters of albums where there's some commonalities there, but this is so far removed. It's a little bit more kind of dancey, a little bit more kind of rocky. In some parts, a little bit more like, like country ragtimey in other parts. Next song is I Threw It All Away. It's interesting, too, because I'm starting to hear Bob through the new voice. This is why you shouldn't be on cigarettes.
I once held her in my arms. She said she would always stay. But I was cruel, I treated her like a fool. I threw it all away. Once I had mountains in the palm of my hand, and rivers that ran through every day. But I must have been mad, I never knew what I had until I threw it all away.
I really love this version of his voice. It's funny because it kind of hits a different emotional level, right? Like it still sounds like he's very much using his own voice. And maybe the more you hear it, the more it just, it's Bob. And so to you, the more it sounds like Bob. But I can only imagine that when people bought this album, they were really surprised. Like this, how many times do you see vocalists completely reinvent their voice? Which again kind of leads in to him being equal parts like voice actor and musician. And then you get these lyrics, sometimes they're a little bit abstract, but then you get hit with, I must have been mad. I never knew what I had until I threw it all away. You get hit with mega real life nuggets in the middle of it, but you kind of get thrown into his writing sometimes in medias res of somebody's life who's already going through a certain set of emotions and, and their story. And you kind of just meet them where they're at in their life.
Love is all there is. It makes the world go round. Love and only love, it can't be denied. No matter what you think about it, you just won't be able to do without it. Take a tip from one who's tried.
Wow.
So if you find someone who gives you all of the love, take it to your heart, don't let it stray. Oh, one thing for certain, you will surely be a hurting if you throw it all away. If you throw it all away.
Thanks for the horchata, babe. And you gave it to me in a Brett glass. W's for my wife, who brought me a glass of horchata well, it's a Brent and Pigpen and Keith glass, but you know. She calls it the Brent glass because Brent's face is the biggest. Anyways, no, this song is really. I think I still like To Be Alone With You better, but this is really kind of like life lessons, you know? I think it's easy sometimes in romantic relationships. It's like it seems to be a human condition. I'm fortunate, like, you know, it's never been something I struggled with too much. But like looking at the, you know, grass and thinking it's greener on the other side in a romantic context, like, so if you find someone that gives you all of her love, take it to heart. Don't let it stray. One thing's for certain. You will surely be a hurtin' if you throw it all away. I think, you know, there's a reason that we have these like universally like almost cliche concepts like the one who got away. I think a lot of times we, you know, as people get in our own ways in romantic contexts and are left to, you know, think about it. And it kind of seems like he's coming at this from a no, you know, like a no-id perspective. What? Are you laughing because I said a no-id perspective? A no-id? Love you too. Thank you for the horchata. Peggy Day. Peggy Day.
Peggy Day stole my poor heart away. By golly, what more can I say?
Okay, Peggy Day immediately. So Mel actually has a spot-on Peggy Hill from King of the Hill impression, and she'll grunt and be like, Peggy Hill. And, like, you just know that, like, it sounds just like her. I mean, like, I never would call my wife a voice actress, but she can hit Peggy Hill perfectly. Hank. Like, she does it. She does it so well. But the Peggy Hill grunt, right? So when I saw Peggy Day, I got really excited, and I was like, you know, I did my Peggy Hill. Peggy Hill. It does boggle the mind. Oh, I see what you did there. That was a great pun. But anyways, yeah, she's not going to do it for the microphone. She's a little shy, I would say. Yeah, she's over there like, no, I'm not going to do it right now. But when I saw that, I was excited, and I looked over at Mel, and she did the Peggy Hill thing. And yeah, anyway, right after that, Bob says, Peggy Day. Well, man, I can't. Peggy Day.
Stole my poor heart away.
Peggy Day. I like the bluesy kind of thing here.
Peggy Day stole my poor heart away. By golly, what more can I say? Love to spend the night with Peggy Day. Peggy night makes my future look so bright. Man, that girl is out of sight. Love to spend the day with Peggy night.
I love this song. Maybe the song of the album right now.
You know, even
it's really good. I love it.
You know, I love her just the same. And I tell them all wherever I may go, just so they'll know that she's my little lady and I love her so. Peggy Day.
Yes, it's the guitar.
Turn my skies to blue from gray. Love to spend a night with Peggy Day.
in the lap steel work. So you're telling me that the guy that played the lap steel on this album is the same guy that plays the lap steel on Ween's song Piss Up a Rope? It's hilarious to me.
Peggy Day stole my poor heart away. By golly, what more can I say? Love to spend a night with Peggy Day.
Love to spend the night with Peggy.
Love to
the halftime
with Peggy Day.
with Peggy Day. I'm gonna end up spending a lot of time having to learn how to do this Bob voice. I have because like it's something that happens in my brain. Like I thought I had a pretty like decent Bob Dylan impression. Like when I take it seriously and put an acoustic guitar in my hands and like make sure it's shockingly high above my dick because that's how it works. Yeah, you gotta when you play Bob, you gotta have the guitar way high above your dick. Yeah, it's part of the rules. No, it's like Diener would say above the dick or below the dick, not over the dick. But I play over I play above the dick pretty consistently. Like just that's where I hold my guitar, anyways. But neither here nor there on like above the dick or below the dick placement. I think that there was a time when I thought I had a pretty good Bob Dylan impression, and now I feel like I need to approach it a little bit differently, or at least try to get another of his voices in like my impersonation wheelhouse. But anyways, I gotta run an ad. I will be right back. Go stretch, put some sunscreen on, smoke them if you got them. Do what you do. Alrighty, dighty, guys. Ads are over. Thank you, Twitch, for making me run those. Let's hop back in and get on with it. Late. Okay, this is on that album. This is on this album. Okay, so this is the song. Okay, it doesn't have lyrics apparently. Can somebody get me some lyrics? This is the song that I made a total douchebag out of myself to my wife over. This is the one where I was like, honey, I know Bob Dylan's voice. And she was totally right. This is the big song from this album. Okay. I told her, I think I remember the song from the movie Radio Flyer. It'd be kind of a sad movie, but like the abusive stepdad was like dancing slow dance to this song in the kitchen. Hang on. Lay lyrics. Let's see. There we go. Got a genius. Here we are. Yo, Thrill Jockey. Tier 1 for 3 months in advance for 2 months. The hit. Absolutely amazing. Thank you for coming back. Okay, so this is the song I guess I vaguely kind of know, if only from hearing it in passing and having a douche moment of my life. Yeah, it was like on the radio. Where were we that it was? Yeah. But I was a total douche. Anyways, neither here nor there. And it was also potentially in the movie Radio Flyer. Can somebody check on that for me? Maybe I'm wrong. Garden State? I don't know.
Lay, lady, lay, lay across my big brass bed. Lay, lady, lay.
Did Bob Dylan get played on country station? Did Bob get played on country radio?
Big brass bed. Whatever colors you have in your mind, I'll show them to you, and you'll see them shine. Lay, lady, lay.
What? This song is so pretty. Holy crap, and here I am. Like, I'm actually like hearing the song now and seeing the words. Whatever colors you have in your mind, I'll show them to you and you'll see them shine. Like, the imagery there is so beautiful.
Whatever
And
colors you have.
that hook, it really carries you. Even though it's not like the Bob voice I'm familiar with, it hits.
Whatever colors you have in your mind.
It was in Radio Player. Okay, cool.
And you see them shine.
Real kind of sad movie.
Lady, lay, lay across my big breast bed.
Is he playing like a tin can?
Stay, lady, stay. Stay with your man a while. Until the break of day, let me see you make 'em smile. His clothes are dirty, but his hands are clean. And you're the best thing that he's ever seen. Stay, lady, stay. Stay with your man a while. Why wait any longer for the world to begin?
Has he been out to work? That's why.
You can have your cake and eat it too. Why wait any longer for the one you love when he's standing in front of you?
Why wait any longer for the world to begin? You can have your cake and eat it too. Why wait any longer for the one you love when he's standing in front of you? He writes some of the... I'm over here having like across the room telepathy romance with my wife at the moment. Like, it's one of those things that really just does inspire good feelings. I think we should all be so lucky to have experienced a love like this, you know? And the way... this is just hitting in a really good spot.
Lay, lady, lay. Lay across my big breast bed.
And the little, like, it really does sound like he's on a porch with a guy that just, happens to have a lap steel guitar. And it sounds like somebody's playing like a tin can or a washboard or something.
Stay, lady, stay. Stay while the night is still ahead. I long to see you in the morning light. I long to reach for you in the night. Stay, lady, stay.
Thanks.
Stay while the night is still ahead.
Having heard that song in its entirety and actually gotten to see the lyrics and listen, that might be the song of the album. I keep saying that. I think the last couple, Lay Lady Lay, Peggy Day, I threw it all away. Wow, kind of rhymes. Those three songs all kind of... I threw it all away, Peggy Day, Lay Lady Lay. It kind of rhymes. Anyways, that's been just... Actually, from To Be Alone With You to Lay Lady Lay has just been super, super nice. One more night.
One more night, the stars are in sight, but tonight I'm as lonesome as can be. Oh, the moon is shining bright, lighting everything in sight. But tonight, no light will shine on me. Oh, it's shameful and it's sad. I lost the only pal I had. I just could not be what she wanted me to be. I will turn my head up high to that dark and rolling sky. But tonight, no light will shine on me.
It's amazing because I always imagine Bob is writing about himself, which is like such a, I think, mistake. But it's like I can see the imagery laid out. Like you can kind of follow along with the story that he tells. And I really love that about his writing. And I really like that we're getting this kind of like Appalachian vibe of music. You know, as a Tennessee boy, this sounds like home.
I was so mistaken when I thought that she'd be true. I had no idea what a woman in love would do. One more night, I will wait for the light while the wind blows high above the tree. Oh, I miss my darling so, I didn't mean to see her go. But tonight, no light will shine on me.
He still does write like Bob things, right? Like the way his meter kind of works sometimes. Kind of his, I don't know. There are similarities in certain songs. You know, while the wind blows high above the tree. Oh, I miss my darling so. I didn't mean to see her go, but tonight no light will shine on me. You know, he kind of does this like A, B, B, A kind of rhyme scheme. But he mixes it up all over the place as well. There's this almost like narrative perspective he takes, but then sometimes it takes like a stream of consciousness side turn. He really just, the way he writes is one of my favorite things about him.
Shining bright, and the wind blows high above the tree. Oh, I miss that woman so, I didn't mean to see her go.
The new voice has really grown on me as the album has gone on. I gotta ask you, live or on YouTube, do you find yourself being more inclined to like this version of his voice or like the ones we've seen in the first 8 albums? Because it's taken me, you know, maybe through a couple of songs to like get used to it, and now it sounds like Bob Dylan again with a different twang. I'm starting to more familiarize, but I'm interested in which version of his voice you like out of just the 2 I've heard. Don't go off into the future yet. Like first 8 albums or this version. Oh. The gratuitous piano ending done in a bombastic way. I love it. This is Tell Me It Isn't True. Tell me that it isn't true.
I have heard rumors all over town. They say that you're planning to put me down. All I'd like to do,
but they don't sound like different people.
Tell me that it isn't true. They say that you've been seen with some other man, that he's tall, dark, and handsome, and you're holding his hand. Darling, I'm counting on you. Tell me that it isn't true.
Huh. Good nugget, Biggie.
I know that some other man is holding you tight. It hurts me all over doesn't seem right. All of these awful things that I have heard, I don't want to believe them. All I want is your word. So darling, you better come through.
They definitely did the hard pan thing for sure. Because you've got like the acoustic guitar in one side with the piano and the drums and the bass. Bass is all left ear again. You really hear the room. But this is something we say in like every Bob album we've listened to, right? Like he captures lightning in a bottle in a studio with the musicians he plays with. I don't know that we hear overdubs as we go through it, really. Like I think that the whole bit is part of what you hear is the performance that the band plays in the room. And it's not beholden to like a metronome. It allows the music to breathe or speed up or slow down based on the way Bob is kind of band leading at the time, even though he's like, I guess, notoriously not wanting to be like a band leader. It was recorded over a span of 4 total days. Yeah, you guys on this channel, throughout the years I've done this, coming up on 3, which is crazy. April will be 3 years. But you've heard me talk a lot about the sound of clothes brushing up against each other in a studio. And it's like that entails like mic bleed. Like you might have a microphone up to the guitar cabinet, but it might be hearing echoes of the drums off in the corner of the room. And it's going to capture some of that. Now, you're going to hear mostly the guitar, but in a grand scheme, you're going to kind of hear some splashing of noises around, and it's hard to identify what that noise is if you're not like one that's like trained or like actively learning how to hear stuff like that. But once you hear it, you can't unhear it. And Bob is like that texture is so much a part of the butter that he, butters his bread with.
Awful things that I have heard,
I love that.
I don't want to believe them. All I want is your word. So darling, I'm counting on you. Tell me that it isn't true.
This is just a good one. Yeah, that ending part was absolutely kind of a jazz descent. That walk down, doon, 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 doon. I really find myself taken with the different dynamics that he presents himself with as a musician. I think the biggest thing about this album that stands out to me is almost like kind of a reinvented nature, It doesn't have like the feisty attitude of something like Maggie's Farm, right? It doesn't have like the hope and kind of middle finger at establishment that like the Times They Are a Changin' did. It doesn't it doesn't have like maybe the longing that Freewheeling did. It feels like he's really kind of gotten people out of his head and just decided to do what makes him happy. And I feel like you start seeing that with John Wesley with JWH, right? Like you kind of see he abandons what other people are doing and instead does what he would like to do, what moves him where he's at. And I think it's really cool that with him you kind of have this microscope into his interests through his albums, because it's not necessarily like you're seeing where he's at as a human being, because he wrote all of these words that are like how he feels about his life. It's not like you're getting this massive song diary. You're just getting a whole bunch of artistic output that is incredibly awesome. But it's not like, I think what you see, it's weird, but it's like you kind of get to know where he was in life, even if you don't know what at all was going on in life. You kind of see his interests reflect his countenance and demeanor. And the sound of the music, I think, is really an interesting, texture to that. And hearing this, I would definitely pair this, even though the voice is tremendously different, pair this in a grouping with, JWH, because it does feel like the personality behind the album is kind of the same in the respect of, it's still very earthy. It's still very, some dudes in a room. It's very much more country oriented. It feels like the mountains, it feels like being in the mountains in fall. That's kind of a funny and specific way to put it, but it feels like being in the Appalachian Mountains in the fall when I listen to this. I'm starting to sound very knowed. Thank you. Okay. I have to ask, because you got to realize, while this might be the flimsiest sounding guitar lead ever, like, it sounds like it's as, it's as sharp as a drumstick, right? Or like it's as sharp as a breadstick is what I was trying to say there, and it came out of my mouth bad. But what I mean by that is, like, it's really, really jangly. It does not have like a massive punch to it. It's kind of interesting to think that, like, metal leads, like thrash metal leads, in some way, shape, or form, kind of come out of something like this. And honestly, the closest person to in modern music that I can think of that makes sounds like this would be the guitar player for Delvon Lamar Organ Trio. If you haven't checked them out, be sure to do so. Check out their KEXP set, their warm up set in particular. You'll hear what I'm talking about. Oh, it is awesome.
Saxophone Joe, when he's got the hog's head up on his toes.
It's where it all began.
Love that country pie. Listen to the fiddler play when he's playing till the break of day. Oh me, oh my, love that country pie. Raspberry, strawberry, lemon, and lime. What do I care? Blueberry, apple, cherry, pumpkin, and plum. Call me for dinner, honey, I'll be there. Saddle me on big white boots, tie me on and turn her loose. Oh me, oh my, love that country pie.
I also love that country pie.
I don't need much, that ain't no lie. Ain't running any race. Get to me my country pie, I won't throw it up in anybody's face. Take me up that old beach street, the little Jack Horner got nothing on me. Oh me, oh my, love that country pie.
I really love that guitar tone. I know I called it flimsy, but you have to understand, compared to modern guitar tones, it is. Like, it's like you plug in that, you play that same lead into like a cranked JTM 45, you're going to hear a different sound. Or especially now, like you plug it into like, like a Bogner rig or something, you're going to hear a totally different sound. Like what amps do are just kind of different. That was very much kind of that cool sound of like a Telecaster on the bridge pickup through an amp that's like a low wattage amp that's just kind of chugging. It's like, it's such a time period guitar tone, but it's it's fantastic to me. It really like that tone was just choice, and it fit this song so well. Country Pie. It was kind of like the upbeat, exciting one. I'm genuinely sad that this is the last song on the album. This has been tremendous. I'm not gonna take so long to do another Bob album, as in we've already kind of got one on like my horizon for a future schedule. So good news is it won't take so long to get to the next Bob video. But let's see if this one sticks the landing. Tonight I'll be staying here with you. Here we go. Very good point, Walrus.
Throw my ticket out the window. Throw my suitcase out there too. Throw my troubles out the door. I don't need them anymore, 'cause tonight I'll be staying here with you.
Wow.
I should have left this town this morning, but it was more than I could do. Oh, your love comes on so strong, and I've waited all day long for tonight when I'll be staying here with you.
Are you guys familiar with Lobby Seafray? I'm only very vaguely familiar with him, as in I've heard a song, like 2 songs, and one of them is called "Bless the Telephone." And for whatever reason, this song reminds me of that, and that is one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard. But recommend checking out Rolling Thunder version of this from 1975. That version blows my face off. Okay, I guess. Well, I mean, Rolling Thunder review is obviously going to like happen no matter what in the Bob chronology, right? Like I'm absolutely going to be going through that on a stream, like with you guys. So I guess we just technically have 6 years of Bob chronology to get to it.
Is it really any wonder the love that a stranger might receive? You cast your spell and I went under. I find it so difficult to leave.
It sticks the landing.
I can hear that whistle blowing.
And what's interesting is it's like John Wesley Harding was far removed from what he had done in his other albums, like in the Dylan Goes Electric albums, right? This feels like it kind of combines concepts from what he did with John Wesley Harding with some of the Dylan Goes Electric albums, and you end up with this really cool combination. But then the whole rub to the whole bit is this, you know, he changed his entire friggin' voice. So yeah, I mean, it's so much Bob. It's so much him pulling from other things he's done. It's clear he found people he enjoyed working with, and you know, I think it's kind of interesting that you're hearing a few different blends of things that he has done with a whole new approach to the way he's like delivering vocals.
I see that station master too. If there's a poor boy on the street, then let him have my seat. 'Cause tonight I'll be staying here with you.
That lap steel is just so nice.
Throw my ticket out the window. place out there too. Throw my troubles out the door, I don't need them anymore. 'Cause tonight I'll be staying here with you.
It stuck the landing for sure. Recency bias is gonna hit hard, but I'm really feeling good about this one. I think if only for the mind-blowing factor behind it. You know what I mean? There is just to see this man's evolution is, I think, half the fun of going through his chronology. And lest we forget, like, just he won a Nobel Prize for his lyrics, right? Like, he is like, discovering Bob has been amazing, especially because, again, my wife can tell you, I've gone through his catalog like crazy just in my private life, like away from the stream. Like, he's an artist that I've continuously listened to, like, ever since I started. I haven't stopped. It's continuously been in my ears. I'm nearly positive there has not been like a week that has gone by that I've not listened to Bob Dylan since I started my journey. And it's kind of nice because I get to space it out. I think in doing this, it's easy to kind of just blow a wad, go through an entire catalog, and then never really return to the music or absorb what it is you hear, let stuff stick to you, and see what you revisit. And with Bob, I've had a chance to do that. And I think I like doing that with, like, all of the deep dive artists, is really giving myself a chance to kind of like see what it is I continue to return to after I've listened. Because not every artist gets the deep dive tour, right? Like, not every artist is like, yeah, I want to listen to all of that. But it also has me kind of treat the artist with a little bit, different level of like, maybe respect, because I'm, actively interested and engaged. And I feel like it almost helps me kind of connect with people that have been longtime fans who had to wait for albums to come out X amount of time. It does add a layer of validity, almost in the same spirit of like me buying an album that isn't on any of the streaming services, which does happen occasionally. It's a similar kind of thing. I really enjoyed this. It's funny because I feel like I don't want to go into comparing and like ranking where I like it. I just felt like that was a good album. I'm like excited to listen to it again. I was telling Mel in the ad break, like, yeah, you're gonna get stuck listening to this album with me for a couple of days. So, anyways, first timers, definitely let me know what you think of it. I felt like this again. Just I enjoyed the heck out of it. I'm totally here for this. New voice Bob. I'm here for it. The total curveball, exactly what I wanted to see coming into this. Guys, I love you. Man, I'm sitting here thinking about what a journey it's been from 1969, from when we saw Bob in the beginning, like as the little kid. Like, it's kind of crazy to think about. What, 6 years? Like, 1962, so maybe 7 years. 60. Bob Dylan's album Bob Dylan was released in 62, so like 7 years. What a journey. Like, this is the kid he was, unbelievable. I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for the positivity that you show both to me and to one another. Continue to be the best, and until I see you next, be introspective and consider the birds. Goodbye.